Very good. Come on. If you're on today. Really on the finger of the seaboard. No, I just. Take it home. All that's found. Yes, I do. Still. I'm still on my dude. How are you? I thought you have
5 point something for trying to move your.
Not bad. Yeah. Well. I was in a hotel for a week. I can't wait to see those. This is for that fellowship. You don't have to take their all the information you need there. There was this. Okay, you guys know. I'm good. Right. Pretty. Well, that was the one. Yeah. 15 minutes. Yeah. All these $100. Yeah.
Okay, it is 4:30, so we'll go ahead and get started for our Henry County Council meetings. So we'll start with the pledge by Scott and then a prayer by Kenan. Please stand.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty
and justice for all. Heavenly Father, we just thank you for the opportunity to serve our county. May the things we say and do be in your favor and be for the betterment of our community. We give you thanks and praise in your holy name. Amen.
Amen. Okay, we have several things on our agenda. We'll start out with Mr. Murphy. Oh, sorry. Yes, I guess we do need to do the minutes. Sorry, Mr. Murphy, pause. On deck. Okay, so everybody should have received the minutes from Debbie a while back. Everyone have a chance to look at the minutes. Any additions or corrections?
I make a motion to approve the August 13 minutes.
I'll second. Motion and a second. And a further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. All right. Mr. Murphy, you're up.
Good afternoon, council. I gave you a packet, and I'll be walking through that quickly. The first item, or the first couple documents are related to Ready. And so as I have copied off a PowerPoint or a slide deck from the Regional Steering Committee's August update. And the key point in Ready 1.0 on a regional basis, we're at the magic 65% drawdown. which triggers eligibility for Ready Two funding in the region. And then there's some disbursement stats there. These are regional numbers. And then all projects across the region have received at least one disbursement. You turn the page. There's some more information there on Ready One. I'll leave it to your review. Ready Two. There's a lot of feedback. Do you hear the feedback?
I do.
Okay. Other than not
Maybe-
talking, what would you like me to?
I don't know. Do we need to maybe move it this direction?
Catch your voice there.
Great.
It should.
It's sensitive. Thank you. So project approvals have resumed after the earlier pause when the new administration came in. I'm, pleased to announce that we were one of the first in the region. I don't know whether River Rock up in Marion, Indiana was before us or not, but we were one of them with the Newcastle Residential. By the way, the groundbreaking on Newcastle Residential is Friday at 1:30. We've sent out a couple emails to that regard. We hope to see you there on Washington Street at 1:30 on Friday. And then the rest of that is just language in terms of there's projects across the region at different levels. I shared with the commissioners this morning, I equate those to different levels of Jumanji. If you haven't watched the movie, please do. It's great. Not the old one, the new one. So pre-commitment, pending compliance, pending pre-commitment, all different levels. The third level of Jumanji is approved for compliance, and that's where we want to be. And, the Newcastle Residential site received that. The next item is, I've referred to this in previous meetings, but I wanted to share it with you. This is the official policy of the East Central Indiana Ready Steering Committee. Each county has 2 representatives, so it is fair and equitable in terms of the voting. Myself and Jennifer Fox from the foundation represent the geography of Henry County on the steering committee. There's a lot of words here. I did not write it, but here's the summary. For whatever reason, if a project that was allocated money in Ready Two, so this is Ready Two only. For whatever reason, if it can't move forward, the first goal of this policy is to leave the money in the county and find a replacement project. If that doesn't work and counties can't get their stuff together, we do a pretty good job, seriously. Then it goes to the region and the region will redistribute it. So there's a lot of words to say. It is the priority of the regional steering committee to leave the money in the county if possible. All the requirements apply. You gotta have match. You gotta meet the timelines. It's gotta meet the, it's gotta meet the rubrics and all that. And if we can't, then there's a clear mechanism on how that gets redistributed. At your previous meeting, I asked for a volunteer to serve on the Ready, that was a Hunger Games reference, to serve on the local leadership, the Henry County Ready Leadership Group. The commissioners appointed somebody, Steve, and I'd be looking to this body. I don't know if you're ready to handle that, but I want the name sooner rather than later because I don't want to have to come back and do this if we need to call a meeting.
Mr. Chairman, I move that Kenan Gray serve in that capacity as he has continuation from the last time.
Okay, so I have a motion. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. So I think Kenan did a great job the last time and I appreciate you doing that. But Kenan, are you willing to do it? I guess is the question. Okay, so we have a motion and a second. So all those in favor of appointing Kenan to that position on the Ready Steering Committee, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion, okay, 1 abstention.
All right, thank you for that.
Yes.
Any questions on Ready before I go to the final topic unrelated to Ready?
Yeah, Ready 2.0 for the water. Where's that project?
Which water?
Memorial Park water.
The water and sewer, it is in a pre-commitment phase. I got a follow-up question from the state through the region, and I am working to answer that. I view that question as positive. So we'll get the response back to them, and hopefully in the near future, it'll move up to the level of Jumanji. You didn't ask this, but I'm gonna go ahead and say it. We have an approved contract. It was approved last year with United Consulting to do the engineering work on the water and sewer in Memorial Park. I have not engaged that because once we do, we're spending local money, that's food and beverage, as the match. But the moment that I get a pre-commitment is the moment we move really, really quickly to pull people together, figure out where to survey. I mean, actually like survey, because we only want to survey once. And we can get that project designed and moving forward from a construction standpoint. Any other ready questions? My final update is exciting. And so it's so exciting. It leads with this subdivision map in the industrial park. And so I tried to highlight lot 4 for your copy. Lot 4 is 8 acres on the northwest corner of Brooks Drive and Hayes Way. Said differently, it is directly north of the Shell Building. It is owned by the Redevelopment Commission, has been owned by the Redevelopment Commission for a number of years. We put in the road, we extended utilities, we did some mass excavation out there to balance the sites. What the road did is it opened up property that really wasn't eligible to be available because it was landlocked. And so in May of this year, I entertained a site visit from a consultant and a company. And they came to our Shell Building. That's what brought them to town. And it didn't work out for 2 reasons. One, the Shell Building was too large. And 2, we already had a signed letter of intent to sell the Shell Building. So it really wasn't available. So we walked outside and I pointed across the road and I said, why don't you build over there? And so the next document is a procedural timetable that involves a number of government entities. So this is 2 processes in one timetable. It involves the Redevelopment Commission, the Plan Commission, the county commissioners, and the county council. The reason why I'm going into this great detail is because it is quick. This company needs to be operational by August or September of next year. And if you're in the building construction business, that's fast. And so I did not share with you the land transfer timetable or the Planning Commission overlay district timetable, but that exists too. They all agree on an end of November. We're going to wrap all this up, subject to everybody's approval, at the end of November, which is perfect to get their contractor on site and to start building. What would they build? They would build an approximately 25,000 square foot facility. It will do 3 things. It will manufacture. What do they manufacture? Food packaging. They are a food packaging manufacturer. So it would house their manufacturing. It would house offices and associated warehouse. It would also be situated in such a way that they can expand as their business grows. The name of the company is Enio International. That is E-N-N-I-O. E-N-N-I-O. They're family owned. They've been around since the 1950s. A couple different main product lines. They're based in South Australia. They speak English, but they sound much different than me. I could listen to them all day, actually. It's pretty cool. One of their customers is Boar's Head. not their sole customer. They are not owned by Boar's Head. They are independent, they're family owned. What's driving the growth is a relationship with Boar's Head among others. Food packaging is their product. 50 new jobs over 5 years. So let's say we meet this timeline and they're operational at the end of next year. What, that's 2026. So at the end of 31, they're saying 50 new jobs in the industrial park. Now back to the boring part. This timetable, as it relates to the county council, is the same process that we most recently did for Ashbury Fields Residential. It is an Economic Development Commission bond process. If we go further back in the Wayback Machine, we did this for the Boar's Head expansion. And so the county commissioners by statute have a role on our plan amendment, and by statute as the fiscal body, the county council has a role in terms of, a financial incentive. We're looking at a little different type of incentive, and I'm not going to go into great detail because at your October meeting, Baker Tilly is going to come and talk to you about their recommendation on how to structure this. Any funding for the incentive would come from the Redevelopment Commission. We are not asking for anything from County General. We're not asking for a tax abatement either. But it may look a little different than the Economic Development Commission bond. Same approval process, but at the end, maybe a bond isn't issued. Maybe it's a forgivable loan. Maybe it's a reimbursement agreement. But I wanted to introduce this to you tonight because of the speed in which the client needs us to move, and it gives us a competitive advantage, by the way. I've been here 12 years, and I enjoy telling clients that it is my goal for you not to be waiting on me if it is legally and ethically possible. And so I appreciate the continued partnership and support of county government, because when the votes are taken, I don't have one, and rightly so. But this is the opportunity before us. I think it's a good opportunity. You're going to start seeing stuff in the legal notices anyway, because the land transfer process, it's the notice of offering. We're going to kick that off soon. We're going to make application to the Planning Commission to be on their October hearing schedule for the overlay district for Lot 4 for this project. We're going through a plan amendment process with the county commissioners, and you all are involved in the Economic Development Commission bond incentives. So, but I'm going to leave most of the heavy lifting to Baker Tilly because this is new to me, and it's also new to our county. Questions?
I think we're going to have to move the October 8th, but Debbie might have an update on that because this,
Not too much.
no, either a day before or after, she may have an update. I don't know.
October 8th.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh, it's gonna be, yeah, it'll be this, probably the 7th, I think. It's probably what I
Okay.
decided on.
Sweet. Okay. We're not asking for a vote on October 7th.
Okay.
It'll be an introduction of an ordinance, and then you'll get to hear from Baker Tilly. More from Baker Tilly and less from me, which is a good thing. Thank you.
thanks, Corey. I appreciate the update. Exciting news, another business here in Henry County, so that's great. Okay, so I'm going to shift the agenda slightly and move up the EMS lit discussion because I think it affects the next item on the agenda with the budgets. So back a few weeks, well, I guess several weeks ago now, we had another discussion about potentially having to raise the EMS lit tax as a way of funding the local emergency medical services for Henry County. I know that we had several discussions in our budget sessions and have found some alternatives to this, but we still have to check this box and go ahead and bring this forward, this ordinance, and either accept the potential change or make a new change, or just leave it as is my understanding, correct? Joel, okay. So, at this point, I guess I will just take I'll open the floor up to the council to see if anyone has any discussion they would like to bring forth on this.
Just for correct purposes, this was noticed as public hearings and the public had an opportunity.
Yeah, exactly.
to speak to proposals about this.
Sure.
How much is this going to affect the taxpayer? Because I had not seen those numbers. I know, but that's the new rate, but do we know, it usually
Well-
pretty good at spreadsheets of how this affects the average Joe making 50,000, 70,000.
So Joel, let me clarify. This is the proposed rate, but we can go anywhere from stay where we're at up to that rate. Is that?
Correct.
So that's not a locked-in number. The proposed rate was to go to the 0.1, which is the max for that currently. But keep in mind, all of this goes away and changes in 28 as well. That was one of the reasons why we looked for alternatives in the budget this year, because we have to completely, with the way that Center Enrolled Act 1 came out this year, we have to totally rework all of the lits. And they disappear and everything gets rolled into a general, and I won't go through that whole rabbit hole again that Baker Tilly sit up here for a couple hours and went through, but yeah, so it changes drastically. So it affects it as much as what would pass.
I think Shannon probably has
Yeah.
some good information here. It is going to affect the taxpayer in 2026 and 2027 though. And if you can give me like a $60,000, what the increase would be, I would really like to know that before voting on it. Because we raised taxes quite a bit last year, and this is going to affect the average Joe and Sally public.
I just did the math. If you go from 0.04 to 0.1 on 50,000, it's $30 a year.
$30 a year.
30, yeah. Because you're talking 6/100ths of 1%.
Okay.
Okay.
That makes
$30.
me feel better.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I will say that I know that we budgeted in our budget an additional $400,000 out of our general fund budget, to which will completely satisfy the proposed contract with the city of Newcastle. It also leaves in roughly $110,000 for the commissioners to distribute as they see fit with the other two emergency medical services that operate in our county. And then, so I guess the question I have is, I don't see the need still being there to raise the taxes. Why would we raise the taxes of the citizens of this county when we don't have to? We've already met the need with our general fund budget.
That brings up,
Sorry, can I?
go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, I believe during all of the work sessions, the work sessions were done based upon not, even though in that one meeting, potentially if we did do it, we would potentially could do it anywhere from where it's at now up to 0.1. But I believe in the work sessions when we were doing the budget, it was, I'll say, a consensus that nobody wanted to raise taxes. So I think, and Joel, correct me if I'm wrong, this is just a procedural thing because we said we were going to, could potentially raise the rate. We either have to do something and raise the rate or vote it down. This is more of a procedural thing. We can raise the rate, but because it's more of a procedural thing. Right,
Okay.
right.
So any further comments from the council before I open it up to the public?
Bobby, who's the EMS liaison, Bobby? What are your thoughts, or did you just express your thoughts? Is there a need to raise it at all? I'm kind of sensing you said no.
I don't think so. I don't know. I mean, everything was budgeted out of the general fund on the premise, and I think to not have to raise the tax.
Right.
So, listen, would Henry County EMS love to have more money, or Newcastle EMS? I mean, love to, but everything was budgeted on the premise of not raising a tax. And that doesn't mean that next year it won't have to be done. I don't think anybody's saying that it will never be done. Now, I already had voiced my concerns about how some of the budgeting went and going into cash reserves, but that's a different conversation. But I think, and everybody else that sits on the council can correct me if I'm wrong, it was all done, the budgeting was all done with not raising a tax.
Okay.
And I think that this is just a procedural thing because we started that at the beginning of saying we may potentially raise the tax.
Yeah.
This is more a procedural thing that has to complete the checkbox of, no, we're not going to do it.
Okay. I read in the paper that they're still considering, now I'm talking about Newcastle EMS, limiting the amount they're going to ask from the county at 5%. Is there an update on that? 2020.
I'm not a
this year.
liaison to Newcastle EMS. They're asking for, I'm sorry, Mandy? Yeah, they cannot, I think the agreement, they cannot increase it more than 5% at the next.
That,
And I believe this current agreement, and this was between the commissioners, that it's a 2-year agreement. I've not been part of that conversation because that's a commissioner conversation. So, and between Newcastle and I'm not the liaison to any of that, so.
in my conversations, that's my understanding is exactly what Bobby said as well, that it's a 2-year contract, 590,000 with the max 5% increase.
Okay, well, if it's only 5%, I'm not going to make a motion, but I don't think we need to raise the tax rate on the taxpayer then, given everything that was just said.
Okay. Any additional comments from the council before I open it up to the public for the hearing?
Yeah, I'll say I agree. I don't see a reason to raise the tax based on the information we have, contracts and whatnot that we get from the commissioners. We haven't received anything new. We've been able to budget to cover what we do have. And I agree. We're gonna have to look at it again next year and it might change.
Okay, so I guess it's this time I'll open the public hearing for the public to make comment. If anybody in the public would like to make comment, please step forward, state your name, and the floor is yours. Do I have anyone who would like to make comment? I'll ask one last time. Is there anyone here that would like to make comment on this matter? Okay, so we'll close the hearing and any action from the council at this time?
Yeah, I make the motion that we didn't decline to increase the EMS lid.
I'll second that. Motion.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion from the council? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay. All right, next on the agenda is the adoption of the Henry County 2026 budget. So, do we want to read through the numbers, how Joel and the overall general and just go down through the funds, as I know that's the norm, but
Yeah, I think that's fine.
okay. So we have the 101 general adopted budget at $18,853,834. Adopted levy tax of $13,378,500. Adopted tax rate of 0.7268. 0124 2015 reassessment, adopted budget of $307,500, adopted levy of $379,300 with a 0.0206 adopted rate. Bond number 3 at 18 million, or excuse me, 1.857264 with an adopted levy of 1.8 million, adopted rate of 0.0978. Bond 4000. Local income tax is $2,574,736, 0 on the levy and 0 on the rate. Public safety local income tax, 1,119,753, zero levy, zero rate. Highway is 3,025,268. Local road and street is 935,000. Cumulative bridge is 809,000 with an adopted levy of 577,100 with the adopted rate of 0.0314. Health Department is an adopted budget of 622,413 with an adopted levy of 561,000 with a 0.0305 rate. County Emergency Medical Services is 1,108,783. The park is 480,714 with an adopted levy of 580,800, 0.0316 rate. CCD is 567,000 with a adopted levy of 835,300 with a 0.0454 rate. Redevelopment is $75,175 for a total adopted budget of $32,336,440 and an adopted levy of $18,112,000 for an adopted rate of 0.9841.
Does anyone know what the current adopted rate is? I forgot. How's this compare with the 2025? Did we know? No. Yeah, same here. Never mind.
Any additional questions on the proposed budget? Do I hear any action on the proposed budget?
I make a motion that we approve the 2026 ordinance resolution for appropriation of tax rates as you just read.
Second.
So I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor of passing this signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign.
Aye.
So,
And I voiced mine at the last work session as to why.
so we have a motion passes 6-1. Okay, next we have the solid waste management budget. Or we have Fund 8210, Special Solid Waste Management, adopted budget of $380,424.
Move to approve.
We have a motion. Do we hear a second?
I'll second.
A motion and a second. All those in, any further discussion on this? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously. Okay, next up, we have the park asking for some transfers. So the park would like to transfer $6,000 from 1179,802 gas and oil to 1179,3,000 gas and electric. I guess we should do these individually, Joel, probably. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Okay, so we have this one first.
I'll make a motion to approve.
A motion to your second.
I'll second it.
A motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next up, the park is also requesting a transfer of $4,000 from gas and oil to, and $4,000 from land improvements and $20,000 from the superintendent line to be transferred over to the 1179-3011 building and structure repair.
I'm going to
Total-
assume, and pardon me for interrupting, that the 20,000 from superintendent is because we were without a superintendent for much of the year. So there's funds there, right? Okay.
Yes.
And this is for emergency repair of the lift station, so I will make the motion to approve.
Okay, so I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion or questions on this matter? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
So same side, motion passes unanimously. Okay, next up, Bridge 115. Mr. Copeland.
Bridge 115, that's the structure that's on 400 South, 103. On the way to the airport. It's been closed. It will be open, but only with a 17-ton load limit. There's some structural problems with that bridge we found. And it's fairly recent. There's some cracks in the deck. It's a poor deck. And the cracks are in locations that there shouldn't be a crack. Not a good place, okay? More toward the midspan, and they're large cracks. It's open pretty good. The consultant we have thinks that we may have had some overload. And so, the question now is, we need to replace it. This was not in the long-range plan to replace this structure. So, we need money. All right, there's two ways we can go about this. We plan on putting it in for a federal aid application in November. That's when the call comes. We can do it a couple of ways. If we go all federal aid with the entire structure, our cost will be about, well, here, let me pass this out, it'll be easier to follow.
Thank you.
We can go two ways. We can go all federal aid. 100%, what we can do, the design locally and federal aid and the rest of it. Federal aid is paid 80-20. Yeah. Now, these are estimated amounts. I used the estimated construction cost. There's a bridge in another county that was in July. And I used that number and I added inflation 4% per year annually. But we're talking $448,325 net. Now, to get to that point, we would have to pay the design fees, right-of-way costs, and estimated inspection costs up front. Then we get reimbursed. But the construction cost is based on us paying 20% all at one time. And that would be in 2031. The new call in November is for 2031 fiscal year within. Now you could go another way and pay for the design up front with local money, and it gets you two things. One, increase our chances of getting the project, because NDOT won't have to put federal funds toward the design. And the second thing is it may increase our chances of getting it constructed quicker. If they have additional money and you're ready, they'll give it to you. That cost is $829,125.
So which way would you prefer to, I mean, it's going to cost the county money either way. Which way,
How badly, the question is.
how badly do you want the road opened? And it's the road where the airport is? It's 400 South where the airport is? Which,
Not bad. Now, I might be able to gain a year, maybe two. Two's kind of rough, but I gave probably a year.
if it's all, if the second option, if the design costs are paid with local funds,
Local
versus 5, 6 years.
So you're saying the difference, just to make sure you only gain a year. So you're saying it's 4 years versus 5 years. So we pay twice as much and we get it a year quicker. But technically the road will be open, just not to those heavy equipment traffic. So
Well, because here's the thing, it's gonna have a weight limit on it, but unless we post somebody down there 24 hours a day. Hey, Josh, you want to do that? 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We're not going to be able to keep somebody that's 40 ton off that road. I mean, there's gonna be a sign there that says 17 ton, but that doesn't mean that somebody's gonna drive and go, oh my gosh, there's a weight limit. I'm gonna back up and turn around and go the other way. 17 tons, nothing. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we've got weight limits now on certain roads and I'll guarantee you there's heavier trucks going on.
I suggest, since Bobby's the liaison and she lives closest, that she's stationed there.
Oh, me? 24 hours day.
Like a toll booth.
Hey, listen, if you guys want to play BP Interconnect rate, my hourly rate, I'll do it all day long. I will stay there 24 hours a day if I get paid my hourly rate.
So
Absolutely.
how much quicker do you say if we go to Plan B?
a year.
Probably a year, I'd say.
A year quicker and a lot of savings. Well, one of the discussions we had this week is that we really need to seriously look at raising that Cume Bridge rate, which we have to do before May 31st of 2026, which will give us money in 2027, which is well before 2030. And this gives us maybe more rationale and justification for looking at that Cume Bridge, which we know, I've said, you've said has been insufficient. We're one of the lowest in East Central Indiana. It's insufficient for what it costs to do, to keep bridges up.
You're gonna see bridge closings like this one, you're gonna see load limits. It's getting really expensive to do bridges.
So I have a couple questions. One, and I think you said it and I wasn't sure I heard it completely. I am not completely versed in the weight of some of these vehicles. You said 17 tons would do a school bus, but not a semi or a, yeah, so we're talking school bus, but if we're talking, grain truck, that's.
Oh, grain truck's way much
Way
more
too
than
heavy.
17 ton. They're more, yeah. they're more.
So yeah, I'm not adverse with that, so I was asking.
I
Two,
don't want them-
I guess I have the budget that we literally just passed gave you an extra $475,000 this year.
We thought that last year, Chad, and DLGF nixed that, so I don't know what's going to come of that. We thought we had 900,000 last year, and I don't know if Baker Tilly or something, but anyway,
No,
it got
I'm talking
adjusted
about, if you remember the budget we just passed,
for
we
Cume.
removed the health insurance from the highway department
yeah.
and gave them $475,000-$80,000
Yes, that'll help a lot.
as a shot in the arm. Is that something that could be utilized to come up with that, take that, and is that enough of a priority over some of the other things you guys, you and Braden were talking to about in our budget session? Because I mean, we've already given you near base, almost this exact, shockingly, almost the exact number that you're looking for in the budget.
Is this bridge more important than those large plants?
And I don't think anybody on this side of the room is qualified to answer that. I think that has to come from the highway department and the commissioners that oversee you. We're just the financial arm. I don't think we have the ability or the knowledge I mean, I can tell you as somebody who literally lives right down the street from that, there are several different ways around that bridge because I've done it. I know the fly-in had a very good turnout and it's right there at the airport, just, right down the street from that. So, I mean, there's alternatives for it, but I'm also not driving a grain truck. I'm driving my car. So that's maybe the difference that I don't see. So again, that's why I don't believe I would have the knowledge to make that decision.
Is it okay if I take this to the commissioners at their next meeting and discuss this? Are you okay with doing this either way? We can take the money you give the highway, they decide to go With that,
with this bridge instead of the large culverts, or make a trade-off, or go federal aid.
So I can't speak for the rest of the council, but I can only speak for me. I have faith in you and Braden, and you guys have the knowledge. And that, so whatever you think is the best use of those funds, then I would fully support that. Now I'll let my colleagues here jump in and say, you know, kind of where they're at, but that's my thoughts.
Agree with that statement?
I fully agree with that statement. I mean, you guys are the experts of what needs done the quickest.
I would say yes, if whatever the commissioners want to do, but I will say, coming from the commissioner's seat, and I'm sure people on the council have gotten phone calls too. The number of phone calls about the roads is 90% of the phone calls. Or if you go on Facebook, this road sucks, this bridge bad, this is out, this is out. So I would caution, if we have to delay it and just close the road for 4 years, that's gonna be bad. But yes, I agree. Yeah. Yes. Oh, absolutely. I'm on board. Listen, if I had the money, I'd give it to you right now to just go fix the dang thing. But
The other thing I will mention is, so we had an event uptown here week and a half ago or so, and there were several state level officials here. And I talked to several of them about this project. And they seem to allude as there may be some possibilities with some state funding from something. So I would, now that we have these numbers, if you don't mind, I'd be happy to reach out to Senator Rotz and Rep. Criswell and others, JD Prescott, and, you know, I'm happy to help facilitate that, because they seemed that they would at least try to facilitate an answer for us, being this is an emergent situation that just popped out of nowhere.
The only thing I know of is federal aid and community crossings at this point. If they could put in a good word for us for the federal aid application, I mean, maybe even a letter, that would help tremendously with the application.
Yeah, because President of Commissioners, Steve Dellinger, and I spoke a little bit about this, so I think I can put together an email if you don't mind and include you and Braden and Steve, and we can try to see if we can get them to, I mean, let's use these guys. They, you know, if they are able to help in any way, I say we go for it.
What is the status of community crossings? I know this year it was a special year that they put a lot of emphasis in, like Marion County and railroads, but it looked like next year they're gonna, from what our rep said on the AIC, next year was actually going to be a little bit better for counties our size. And no,
I think it's the opposite.
they were using, I was told, roughly 250 million to disperse to the various cities, towns.
now it's 100 million.
Right.
And that's with 50 million goes to the smaller county cities.
Okay.
And 50 goes to the large. So
We're competing against,
everybody else at our side at 50 million.
as of August 30th, you had a balance in your Cume Bridge of 425,000. Is that already earmarked for culverts and small bridges and okay. Okay, and the roads that were closed earlier this spring, are they opened or about to be opened?
They've all of them been open. Five South was opened, I believe, 700.
850 was open, I think it was 850. So the ones that were critical and closing in the spring are all open. So the 425,000 balance you had, and you said some of the invoices haven't come in yet. It's all spoken for 2025. Okay.
And I think some of that carried over into next year, looking at your budget, because your levy was 577,000 and budgeted was 809. So we over budgeted that, knowing there was a balance and they would need to use those funds when we did our budget. So
Some of these bridge projects, we use it, I have to use a consultant, of course, and the timing on when the invoices come in is hard to predict sometimes. We guess at it, sometimes too high, sometimes too low. But I want to try to make sure that there's enough in there to pay the bill.
So if we have some left over at the end of the year, it may be because they didn't bill us what we thought. Yeah, 'cause a lot of these are contracts that might start this year and won't end until 2030.
I just want to repeat what Chad and others said. I think we trust you as a Purdue engineer to make the right decision. Bobby, who went to
I think that
IU,
changed.
may
60
disagree
votes.
with that.
Yeah, Be careful.
I respect Joe as an engineer. School is irrelevant.
Joe, I will send out that email. Bobby, you're the liaison,
Yes.
correct? So I will copy Bobby, you, Braden, Steve, and we'll see if we can circle the state and press them. I mean, even talking to Lieutenant Governor's office, who I know handles some of those things, bringing the Lieutenant Governor in the mix wouldn't be a bad thing to try to, I mean, they all want to stand up there and talk how much they do for us all. Let's see them hit the pavement and actually do it. So, okay, thanks, Joe. Appreciate the time. Next on the agenda, Shannon. Sheriff's Department new hire bonus.
So in the most recent, I assume it was the most recent payroll, Deputy Corbin Kidd has reached his graduation from the Law Enforcement Academy. He was a new hire a year ago. And on August 22nd, 2024, ordinance 2024-9 passed by County Council entitles him to a $2,500 bonus once a completion of Law Enforcement Academy. The question came to us in a form of email from the auditor's office as to what account do we pay that out of, because we didn't budget for that anywhere. I would suggest that when we consider budgets next year, we maybe add some line item for those kind of things. I can get with the Sheriff's Department and see how many they anticipate maybe having next year. But as of right now, it's an unbudgeted item. Looking through the September budgetary status and conferring with the Sheriff's Department, there is a unspent amount of $3,300 in the 1,000.14 on-call pay line item. And it is unused and unneeded for the remainder of the year. And I would like to suggest we pay that $2,500 out of that line item. And I'll make that motion.
Second.
My question, I guess it's time for discussion.
Yes, sir.
Was that in the sheriff's budget? The 005
005. 1,000.14.
on-call pay? Okay. Gotcha.
And you said those funds they won't have a need, those funds have already been paid out and that won't cause that line item to go into the red.
Correct. That's a remainder of the on-call pay that was budgeted versus what's been paid out.
Okay. I do agree with you, Shannon, and we spoke earlier, and I think this is something we should consider next year, putting in a potentially kind of like we do for sick pay. Because this falls in a similar bucket as to that. So we should consider maybe in the council line item, putting in X amount of dollars and getting with the Sheriff's Department. I'll leave that up to the two liaisons to kind of plan for next year, but I do think that should be something, but I think this is a good alternative for this year, especially if it's there. Any other further discussion? Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, next up, we have Justin and Molly from Purdue Extension.
I seen it, I did too, I just got seen it.
Purdue like the chicken.
Purdue
I
like the
wasn't
chicken.
gonna say anything, but I was a little bit hurt.
Yeah, not that Purdue, right?
Spell that Purdue engineer.
It's spelled I-U. Yeah,
Oh,
sorry.
gosh.
My name is Molly Hunt. I'm the area director for Purdue Extension here in East Central Indiana. Justin was gracious enough to let me come and join you guys tonight. Really just wanted to thank you guys for your continued support of Purdue Extension and 4-H youth development here in Henry County. I've had a chance to talk to a couple members of the council and also the commissioners about an updated service contract that we'll be executing effective January of 2026. That has been shared with the commissioners, and we'll be presenting that here the 29th of October, perhaps. And so just wanted to let you guys know and make you aware. Sorry, we weren't able to make it to the other budget hearing with the change of date. We were unaware of that change, so my sincere apologies. But as you know, in the Henry County Purdue Extension budget, our contractual services line item is labeled as such. It's labeled as contractual services. So what we're really doing is bringing into alignment our contract to match the budget. And so where historically that contract had laid out numbered personnel, the new contract will have contractual services to align with the budget moving forward. Happy to answer any questions, field any comments, take rebuttals, whatever the pleasure is of the council.
So you'll bring back, I mean, I know the contract will go to the commissioners,
Correct.
but they will be the ones,
I'm sorry.
they'll be the ones that'll sign and do all that. Is there any changes in the, I guess, the pricing, the financial side is, because we set the budget, obviously,
Correct.
so.
There is no change to the 2026 cost structure, which only varies slightly to 2025. A very small increase, which you guys are used to. It's the cost of doing business, as I'm sure every department head and county official understands. So for 2026, there is no change in that cost structure. We are evaluating as an organization, like most organizations right now, how to optimize efficiencies, do more with less because of the nature of the world that we're living in today. And so Henry County gets the unique opportunity of being a part of this pilot where we test this new service delivery model with 5 other counties here in East Central Indiana: Blackford, Jay, Delaware, Randolph, Henry, and Wayne. And so that's what we're doing now. Justin and I just left an all-day meeting with the consultants and the rest of our team of trying to examine what that model looks like. And right now, everything's on the table to, again, make sure that we have the highest level of service delivery to the people of Henry County, that services are not interrupted, but again, living within the reality of state, federal, and county budgets are flat if we're lucky.
Big lucky.
Right. Getting a flat budget is the best thing we can hope for these days, right?
Yeah, especially with the changes in the State House, so.
Correct.
Okay, any other questions for Justin or Molly? Guys, I really appreciate you coming. I look forward to the update and, appreciate all that you guys do for the community, and it's very valuable service, longstanding traditions here in Henry County. So really appreciate all you guys do. Thank
Thank
you.
guys. Again, thank you for your continued support.
All right, thank you. Okay, next on the agenda is the change of date. And Debbie sent this out via email. I think most, the common answer was the 7th. I think Jay may have been the only one that had a conflict or.
I just got chastised for not answering, but I am wonderful on the 7th.
She didn't break out the ruler or nothing? Okay.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, so the 7th, are we good with same time, same place? The 7th at 4:30, October 7th. So Mr. Murphy,
Motion
you'll,
for that, Joel,
yeah.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Same sign, all opposed, same sign. Okay, motion passes. All right. Any further business from the council members?
I just wanted to bring up that Debbie shared with us the updated comprehensive financial plan. It seemed to be in line with things we were talking about during budget hearings. Whoever the highway liaison, if it's Bobby or whoever in 2026, just needs to be aware that we really got to watch that closely. on the highway, which is,
All those funds are estimated to be in the negative by the end of 2026.
yep.
Yep.
So they have to know that. They probably should be shared that report.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Will be.
I think that's been the case since I've been involved in the council though, and the highway department's always adjusted as necessary because the state has so much control over those budgets. And they seem to, I was telling someone the other day, I'd love it if we got all the money the percentages we used to get in gas tax and stuff.
I
You
think
know,
the one
so-
thing, go ahead.
But yeah, I mean, so I think the highway department Joe's been around for quite some time and previous, Braden and the previous ones, and they've done a pretty good job. But I think that was the one thing I remember about the comprehensive financial plan has always been a
It has.
problem.
I think when Braden said that you're understaffed, that's the one thing that's going to save us in 2026. I know you like to hire more employees, but it's the one thing keeping us from going into the red. So it's one of those things that hopefully you can hire more people, but if you don't, you're going to be in the black.
Okay. Thank you, Ken. I appreciate it. Anyone else have anything? All right, I will open it up to the department heads. Any department head have anything they'd like to bring before the council? There's not really any public at large, sorry. The public at large, anything that need to bring before the council? Okay, if hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
All right, thank you, everybody, for coming. I appreciate everything. That wasn't too bad. Pass the budget, still got it done. and under an hour.
needs to sign the minutes.
I don't